Hey, what's going on, guys? So it's a late night walk for me. There's not really any lights out here, so I apologize if it's dark. But I want to talk about something about the market that didn't make sense today to me. Been around for a minute, watching stocks. You guys know that. And I learned some things. I learned some things about investors staying quiet. And today was the complete opposite, right? So Dr. Michael Burry came out. He's posting all this stuff. If you guys don't know who he is, he's from the fame of The Big Short, the movie The Big Short. Dr. Michael Burry bet against the housing market, and he won because he saw that the adjustable rate mortgages were going to default, and it was going to start a housing crisis, which it did. And a lot of the damage got mitigated by a bailout, by all these new acts that they have now to make sure you're a qualified buyer and all the great other stuff. Well, here's the difference. Back then, social media didn't exist. And it exists today. So when you see Dr. Michael Burry start posting, and he's like, hey, here's this short position that I'm taking. And it just seems like a play in a way. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I think he's absolutely correct. I think these markets are depreciating at not the right pace. And I think assets need to have a write-off. And I think that multiple companies have leveraged their sheet off of assets that are depreciating, like Palantir, not Palantir, like CoreWeave, and like numerous other tech companies, all these AI startups, for damn sure. But, I mean, the big boys are just spending so much money. I think you'd have to sit back and think about it, like all the money they're spending on AI, cumulatively, right? Like all added up. At what percent of return would you need on your investment for capital deployed, equity deployed, and everything deployed, right? Like, what's the level you would need? So it doesn't make sense. That's the first thing. And you're never going to make that money back. So there will be winners, there will be losers. But it's very different for me when I think about what Dr. Michael Burry's doing. And here's what I mean by that. Dr. Michael Burry goes and says today that he has a 50,000 put position. He owns 50,000 put, or he owns, did he say 50,000 puts or 912,000? I don't even know. I know this. He has a whole bunch of puts at $50 a piece. And that's a problem. Because he says, yeah, I'm going to be able to buy these shares of Palantir at $50 a piece. Did I say Palantir? I hope I did. I don't know. But he says, I'm going to be able to buy Palantir at $50 a piece in 2027. And so then right away, everyone's on full alert. Alex Karp, the CEO, is like, F these guys, man. We're profitable. We're a great company. We have growth. We have this. We have that. And it's not that you don't have it, right? It's just the percentages of increase, of revenue, of net profit itself, they don't equate to a 500 PE ratio. Everybody knows this. Like, that company's grossly overvalued for what it is. I would tell you Palantir could come in at $50 a share, and that would be a $100 billion valuation, and they would still be 100 to 1 at current ratios. 100 to 1 PE ratio, because the profits for the price of the stock itself. So, price versus earnings would be that 100 to 1, even at $100 billion. They're at 500 billion, 400 billion. Yeah. Michael Burry's correct to short them. But for him to post it and say, I'm going to buy these shares at $50 a piece. No, he's not. That's not what he's doing. He's going to sell out of that once you have momentum running towards it. He's going to take his short position, those puts, and they're going to be so far in the money, or running towards the money, I should say. Someone's going to want to buy that contract once it's steamrolling down his way. And the only way you can do that is if you manufacture this information, which he has tried to do so many times, manipulate social media and get it to run one way. And you know what? I think you're absolutely right, Dr. Michael Burry. I think you're right on this, but I think you're going about it the wrong way. Because in the past, when you had short positions, like you did on the housing market, you didn't say a word to anyone. You didn't try to get other investors in there with you. It was like you were the lone smart guy while everyone was stupid, which is how a lot of us GameStop investors feel right now. And for anybody who's doing any type of analysis when it comes to securities, there is no way that you do not see the anomaly called GameStop. So that's why I'm going to get into this right now. The manufactured news is one thing, but the sheer negligence by Wall Street. We had no volume again today. We had 2 million shares traded back and forth. There's a float of 447 million counting. You know, like this is basically zero. So you mean to tell me no price action, no price discovery, market's not moving at all for GameStop, yet it'll move for anything else. But for a valuation of $9.5 billion, and they have 9.2 billion cash, literal cash, which they borrowed at 0% interest and don't have to pay back for 7 years. So that's the part for me that I can't get over right now. I listen to it and I say, okay, GameStop has all this money, and then they have profits on top of it. I mean, like earth-shattering profits, where the amounts are $500 million. For what they are, those are earth-shattering profits. Because you could take all the brick and mortar companies, Kohl's, Bed Bath & Beyond when it was around, a lot of the other companies. I wouldn't even care if you took Best Buy or whoever. They don't have the ratios. They don't have the profit margins. They don't have what GameStop does, because they're all maxed out on growth. They're all maxed out on the ability to make money. GameStop's at the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where all they have is growth. All they have is the ability to make more money. And that's what we're waiting on, which I'm good to wait, you know. I'm just thinking about value. And I'm telling myself that if you don't see the glaring difference in a company like Palantir, who makes the same money, they have the same money. Like, before anybody comes to me and talks to me about government contracts and growth, I want to talk about it like I've been talking about it. Palantir does not beat GameStop on percentage of increase on a lot of categories, and they don't have the cash GameStop has, and they're not going to. They don't have the profits to match GameStop's cash on hand for another 5 to 6 years. And by the time that happens, GameStop's going to have an additional amount of profit. We're talking about this game of catch-up that no one can catch up to. Yet Wall Street's valuating at $21.50. That is crazy. That is a $9.5 billion valuation for a company who has numbers that match Palantir. But because Palantir deploys cash, and or because Palantir's in front of the limelight and they're the darling of Wall Street and technology, oh no, they're giving a 500x multiple. And I say 500x only because it's 500 PE, but it's not 500x. I mean, GameStop's at a 24 PE. I mean, FCF, they're at a 24. Like, that's phenomenal in itself. But what I really want to tell you guys is the value here is being taken for granted. And I don't care how long it goes. I just know that if Dr. Michael Burry is making bets out loud and telling people it's going to go this way, you know, we're going to short. If all you're doing is betting on the downturn of the market, then you got to tell me where the plus side is. That's it. So bet all you want on the downside. Tell me where the plus side is. Because I know where the plus side is. It's where value is not being given. So that tells me everything about my investment tonight. And I'm proud and I'm happy to be in it. And, you know, Roaring Kitty found a glitch. He's been pouring money into it. And he writes covered calls and he plays that game. And his volatility is a little different. It's a lifeline for him. It's a job for him. It's a game now. It's not. I don't think it's a job anymore. But he took 50,000. He put it up, and he got it all the way to $250 million. That right there should tell you and anyone else that he's the greatest trader in the history of mankind. And it's because he saw value in GameStop. But the true investor and the true grinder of it all is Ryan Cohen. And you go Ryan Cohen, you go Roaring Kitty, and then you go you. You're the next one. Because I finally got 50,000 into this stock. I think I'm at almost 56,000, and I know I'm going to make it over $1 million. I know I am, because I know what I hold. I know the value of it. And my investment has $10 billion cash. My investment has, all this optionality to do the things that everyone else wants to do. And my investment's going to do it. So, Dr. Michael Burry, I know you're paying attention to GameStop. And I know you're paying attention to other things like that. But someone's at my house unannounced. Because I just did a whole loop around my neighborhood and came back to my house. And I don't know who this is. Hold on. All right, I got it. Good evening. Okay, I figured it out. Okay. Who's about to die? It's the Walmart delivery guy. Delivered my groceries. I'm going to take them inside. I'll see you guys around, millionaires. Hey, we own something, and it's amazing. And I'll keep buying more. Peace.